Chayey Soro, Maimer Yigal and Tamei, Daf Tesvav Amud Daled. On top of the page, we're talking about purification, that through food a person purifying it. That's one level. Second level, a person is getting from the source of the food, and the source of the food is much higher than a person, and that is the concept that is L'seva Nafshe, to fill his soul. In other words, he is getting from the food, from the source of the food, and that's helping his nefesh. So we're talking about the difference between the eating of Shabbos and regular day. That the eating of regular day is the concept of purifying the food and elevating the food. That means a person is higher and is elevating the food. And on Shabbos, the main point is getting from the source of the food and taking it to the person himself. So saying the food of Shabbos is the concept that there's no waste from that food. In other words, since there is a purification during the week, there's good and then there's the evil. There's the good part being elevated, but then the purification means that there's some part which is not good, which is, so to say, garbage that is left from it. And this is the concept of during the weekdays. But in Shabbos, you don't have the concept of waste because everything is from the source, and the source is good. You can also look in Pashas Chukas, Nachash, Necheshes, in great length about the concept that in the source everything is good. But Shabbos is the concept from above to below, therefore there's no waste whatsoever. And down in this world, where does the waste come from? That comes from Eitzadas Teivera, and becomes good and evil. Through a person eating from Eitzadas Teivera becomes the connection of the good and evil mixed together, and every person has inside of him mixed of good and bad. It's not equal by every person. Every person is a little bit different. Some people the good is more, and some people the evil is more. But nevertheless, this is regarding every day. But regarding Shabbos, it says, V'lo yigur chara. Over there, in that time, there's no concept of evil. Regarding Yom Tov, it says, Per Shchagchem, the leftover, the waste of Yom Tov. In other words, in Yom Tov, you still have some type of purification. During Shabbos, you're not allowed to purify. You're not allowed to take and separate. The melachos are not allowed. The Melamates melachos symbolizing 39 different ways that we're purifying and elevating the world. Purifying, taking the good and taking the bad and separating between them and elevating the good, and the bad becomes destroyed. Once the source, which is good, is taken away, evil has no stand and he has no control whatsoever, and he falls apart. So on Shabbos, you're not allowed to do any of the 39 melachos. On Yom Tov, you have a little bit of purification that is allowed. There's certain melachos which are allowed, which is melachos of echel nefesh, like baking, cooking, etc. And the only prohibition is against ksira, zriach rish, etc. In other words, the things which are earlier ones. So in other words, some type of purification is allowed, which is the concept of limich lemechdei lemiskenei, to come and to make happy those that do not have. Another time of happiness, which is Yom Tov, is to make everybody happy. As it says, Samachta b'chagecha, Atov, Alevi, V'ager, you have to make everybody should be happy. Because when time of happiness, a person wants that everybody else should be happy with him. And that time is purifying and sweetening all the different dinim, all the different things which are difficult, and by therefore you make happy everybody, those that do not have as well. But if a person does not give to miskinei, does not give to poor people, so then the din does not become purified, does not become sweetened, and therefore the din unfortunately can be very strong and can be tremendous judgment. Because there is some waste. If the purification was not done properly, there's a waste, and the waste has existence because the good was not completely taken out of it. And what happens is, God forbid, there can be a serious punishment from that. Mashenkin on Shabbos, that there's no purification whatsoever. Therefore, even if a person does not help Lemiskene, his punishment is not so bad, because then there's no concept of purification, but rather tzaddik eichel nafshe, to get his nefesh to be much higher level.